Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that just hurts, but for some reason feels absolutely impossible to leave? If that sounds familiar, this is for you. We're going to break down exactly why this happens and, more importantly, how you can start reclaiming your life right now.
So you meet someone, and wow, the connection is just electric. You think, okay, this is it. This is finally the real thing. But then, slowly, that same old story starts to play out. The disappointment, the disrespect, that feeling of being completely drained. It's such a painful and confusing place to be.
And I really need you to hear this, okay? This pattern isn't your fault. It's not some deep character flaw. You are not broken. You are just caught in a really powerful and actually pretty common psychological loop. And understanding how that loop works, that's the first step to breaking it for good.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to pull back the curtain on the mechanics of this painful pattern. Because once you see the formula, believe me, it loses so much of its power over you.
It usually kicks off with something called love bombing, and it feels incredible, you know, like a fairy tale romance. But what's really going on is a manipulation tactic. All that intense, over-the-top affection is designed to get you hooked really fast. And then, just as quickly, it gets pulled away, leaving you just scrambling to get back to that amazing feeling from the beginning. This cycle of extreme highs and devastating lows, well, that's what creates something called a trauma bond. It's this incredibly strong emotional attachment. But here's the key. It's not really to the person. It's an addiction to the cycle itself. That roller coaster of mistreatment, followed by a moment of kindness, is powerfully addictive. And there's some real science behind this. This cycle taps into a powerful psychological trigger called intermittent reinforcement. You know what else uses it? Slot machines. Because the reward, that little bit of affection, is so unpredictable, your brain gets a huge dopamine rush when you finally get it. It makes you crave it even more. And that creates a bond that feels like super strong glue, making it so hard to walk away. But here's the thing. This trap isn't just about what the other person is doing. A lot of the time, the blueprint for these relationships was actually laid down a long time ago. So let's look at the unconscious patterns that can make us vulnerable to begin with. For so many of us, the original script was learned in childhood. There's a concept for this called repetition compulsion. It means we unconsciously seek out what's familiar, even if what's familiar is painful. So, if you had a parent who was maybe critical or unavailable, a partner who acts the same way can actually feel weirdly comfortable. Your brain confuses that familiar ache with the feeling of love. This whole dynamic often plays out inside something called the Karpman drama triangle. You might start out as the victim, feeling helpless, so you switch to being the rescuer, trying to fix them. But when that doesn't work, you get frustrated and become the persecutor, lashing out. The real trap here is that as long as you're playing any of these three roles, nobody is taking real responsibility, and you all just stay stuck in the drama. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why. Now for the most important part, the how. And the big pivot, the huge mental shift, is this. Breaking free is never about getting them to change. It is 100% about you reclaiming yourself. And I just want to pause here for a second. If any of this is hitting home for you, that feeling of awareness, that aha moment, that is not a sign of failure. That is the turning point. That's the light bulb going on, telling you you're finally ready to choose a different path. So what does that new path actually look like? Well, we can break it down into 6 practical, actionable steps. Think of it as a roadmap back to you. So as you see, we start with just acknowledging what's really going on, then we move to setting boundaries, getting support, and really focusing back on yourself. Let's dig into each one. Step 1 is about getting brutally honest with yourself. Stop making excuses for them. Start a journal, even if it's just notes on your phone. Write down the facts, what was said, what happened. The goal is to create undeniable proof that you can look at when you start to doubt yourself. This one simple act starts to shift you from being a character in their story to being the author of your own. Step 2 is all about boundaries. And a boundary is really just a rule you set to protect your own peace. It can be as simple as, if you yell at me, this conversation is over. The key isn't just saying it, it's being ready to follow through. It truly is a radical and powerful act of self-respect. Okay, next up, you have to fight the isolation. It's a classic tactic to separate you from your friends and family to make you more dependent. So it's time to push back. Call a friend you trust, tell them what's been happening. Just hearing yourself say it out loud to someone who cares is so powerful. You'll start to realize you are not alone in this. Now just think for a second about all the energy you spend walking on eggshells, trying to fix them, or managing their moods. Step 4 is about taking all of that energy back and pouring it into yourself. It's about prioritizing your sleep, getting back to a hobby you used to love, moving your body. It's about remembering who you are outside of them.
And please, know that you don't have to do this all by yourself. Talking with a therapist can give you a safe space to really unpack everything and heal those deeper wounds. And listen, seeking help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of incredible strength. Think of it like a fast pass on your road to recovery.
And finally, be kind to yourself. You're going to have moments of doubt. You might even feel guilty. That's a totally normal part of breaking a trauma bond. You have to forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know now. You were doing the best you could with what you had. Healing is not a straight line, so be gentle with yourself.
So, we've walked through the why and the how, and now we get to look forward, because this whole process, this entire journey, is all about reclaiming your future.
Breaking free from this cycle really is a journey back home, to yourself. It's a return to your own power, a reconnection with your worth, and a claim on the future that you get to design. It all starts the moment you realize that intense magnetic pull wasn't destiny. It was just a pattern.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. The future you deserve is not one filled with anxiety and walking on eggshells. It's one filled with peace, with stability, with mutual respect. So, what does that future look like for you? Because it's not just a nice dream. It's waiting for you to go out and build it.